Yo, this is Phil Talk E. Welcome to the locker room where we talk nothing but basketball. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Draymond Green, which is a player that I've spoke about a lot on this channel for multiple reasons, right? Good and bad, but I genuinely like Draymond Green, right? I like his character. I like his personality. I like, what he does for the Warriors. I like, his winning effort, okay? I like what he does on the court. I just don't like the antics that he does, okay? Which I can put aside and enjoy the game when he's playing, right? And that what minute or two occasionally in the series or in the regular season that he does extracurricular physical activity that we do not need to have in the game, I could separate that from the actual person. Okay? So I like the person, I just don't like the antics. Now let's talk about Paul George. Paul George is a player that I've grown to love. Okay, when he was with Indiana and he was going back and forth with LeBron, I was like, damn, he's actually nice. Like I like Paul George right here, right? He went to OKC, play alongside Westbrook, and I was like, damn, he's like he's actually great. Like he can really take over the league. And then he went to the Clippers and same thing. But what's holding Paul George back is all these injuries, right? And his injuries are not like the Kawhi injuries that you don't know about. His injuries are injuries that you literally see happen to him live, in like on the court, and it's so unfortunate. But it's like they are holding him back, and it's like, damn, like I understand. He's like the in between of Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard. Like you're gonna see his injury live, you're gonna see him fall, but his injuries actually are crazy. Like it's not like AD where he gets poked and he's sitting out 10 games, where he stubs his toe and he's sitting out for 10 games. But it's also not like Kawhi where he's just magically getting injured and he's never playing a series again for you. No, like he's going to get hurt and he really wants to get back on the court. Not saying the other two don't want to get back on the court, but you can see Paul George really try, and he will actually try to come back and play if he can. But his injuries are a lot more serious than these other guys, because and not that the injuries are not serious, but you see his injury. Like Paul George will literally break his leg on live television. You see it happen. You're like, damn, like it's unfortunate. AD will go for a rebound and fall, and he's out of the game. Like, whoa, what the hell happened to him? Kawhi will have 40 points in one game, and then he won't play the next 30 games, and he just says he's injured. You're like, yo, what? He did not look injured that whole entire game. So that's the difference. Now, these two guys grouped up. Okay, Draymond Green went on Paul George podcast, and honestly, to me, it was one of the most entertaining podcast interviews, videos of the year so far, right? And why do I say this? It was so much to talk about, and it felt so natural, and I got to see a side of Draymond Green that most times he doesn't show. Like, I did not know that Draymond Green, and I'm not going to speak about this topic right here, but I did not know that Draymond Green was affected by people, basically leaving him open on the three. Obviously, I expected he's a NBA player, he's a basketball player, but I didn't know it affected him so much that he's actually working to regain his confidence in his 3-point shot and at least try to taking them and making at least a couple. I didn't know that. I thought it was something that obviously bothered him, but he got over. And it's not that he got over it, but he learned to tolerate it because he wanted to win. Now, here's what I will talk about. There's like a 6-minute clip where Paul George and his co-host, I think his name is Jackie. My apologies if it's not his name. But they start asking Draymond Green about the obvious trade of Chris Paul going to the Golden State Warriors. Now, here's the thing. Paul George asked Draymond Green this right here.
What do you think, since the trade happened, what do you think he brings to an already stacked and successful team?
Well, I think he brings a couple things. Number one, I thought last year, Steph said it in his postseason, or not postseason, but after the Lakers series, Steph said in his press conference, which was, we ran out of variety. And what I mean by variety is like, in a team, you need to have a variety. Like if they're taking this away, then you can go to this. If they're taking that away, then you can move to this. Our team last year didn't have a variety of ways that we could score. And I think CP adds another thing to the menu to address the topic of a variety of things, of ways to score. Because CP plays totally different than Steph.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally different than Clay.
Right.
Totally different than myself. And even Jordan Poole for that matter.
Right.
And so I think what he brings is, number one, the variety in which we can play.
And obviously you heard Draymond Green's response. He asks him, how do you feel about Chris Paul coming to the Warriors? Like, what do you think he can provide the team, an established team at that the team didn't have before? And he brought up a piece that I've spoke about before. And he used the wrong word. He said variety. I think it's adversity. But it's that. He said, which I agree with, the Warriors lost this last year and they struggled so much because they didn't have adversity. Coming off the bench, Jordan Poole played the same way as Steph Curry. They all played the same way, so it made it easier for teams to guard them. It wasn't easy for teams to guard them, please don't get it twisted, but it was easier. And what Chris Paul does, he provides them a different style of basketball. Now, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson are going to play the way that they've always been playing. That's not going to change. But in the moments where teams are starting to guard them and lock them up, in the moments where Chris Paul is needed to change something up so that they can get a couple buckets in a row, they have him there. And what are they going to do? Obviously use that. They're going to put him on the court. And what is Chris Paul good at? Dissecting the defense and making plays and making everything easier for players around him. Now imagine the passes from Chris Paul to a Klay Thompson, from Chris Paul to a Steph Curry. Oh my God, they're going to be amazing, bro. I promise you. Now, he also said that he thinks Chris Paul can provide this.
I also
Mid-range
think
shooter, too.
last year, Steph and I got split up a lot. And me and Steph together are dangerous.
Meaning y'all minutes.
Absolutely. Our minutes got split up a bunch because our second unit couldn't figure it out. We couldn't figure the second unit out. So in turn, I got put into the second unit to help stabilize
Had to
that
stagger
unit.
y'all.
And that's like 15 less minutes a game that we're together. And so I think due to our roster, it took some of that away. Well, now CP can anchor that unit.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
whether he starts or come off the, I don't know. I haven't had the chance to talk to Steve. I don't know. But I know he will see some time with that unit. And he can anchor that unit. Right. And I think that is a big thing into unlocking our team again.
Which I totally agree with. Chris Paul can definitely provide some play with the second unit that can help the Warriors out a lot. Which kind of goes into my first point and Draymond's first point as well. Like he said, last year is a lot of times where Draymond Green had to play with the second unit and he was separated from Steph Curry because of they couldn't get the second unit going. Like the second unit just couldn't click. They were losing a lot of games because of the second unit not being able to, get it together. And in the result, they lost a lot of minutes of Draymond Green and Steph Curry. Now that's the Warriors' bread and butter. Draymond Green and Steph Curry. That's how you win the game. Not saying that Klay Thompson's not a part, but you need Draymond Green and Steph Curry for Klay Thompson to be Klay Thompson. Or at least be effective the way that we expect Klay Thompson to be. And for them not to have that was very, very painful for the team. Now, They have Chris Paul. I don't know if Chris Paul is going to come off the bench. He might not. But whether he is coming off the bench or not, he is definitely going to see time with the second unit, just like Steph Curry will, just like Draymond Green will, just like Klay Thompson will. But I feel like Chris Paul will see the most minutes with the second unit than any of these other three guys. And why is that? Well, Chris Paul can make players around him better. Even if they're not great, even if they're not good, the way he passes the ball, the way he breaks down the game and defenses, he could give players easy shots that they can make. And in result, the second unit will be a lot more potent. They will be a lot more dangerous for this Warriors team. A lot. Now he also said this.
I think Chris Paul will completely unlock Jonathan Kuminga and his growth. CP is great with young guys. Deandre Ayton looked like a bust before CP came to Phoenix.
Facts.
No disrespect to Ayton, but more so a nod to CP.
Yeah.
Like,
More of a threat.
people didn't know what they were like, what DeAndre Ayton was going to turn out to be, and then CP went there, and all of a sudden
Turned him
DeAndre
up.
Ayton became an all-star level player.
Right.
And so I think what he will do for Jonathan Kuminga and unlocking Kuminga is huge.
Amazing.
Absolutely huge. And I look forward to learning that from him.
Which, okay, let's talk about it. Chris Paul can definitely help Jonathan Kuminga unlock abilities that he has not been able to unlock. Chris Paul is definitely great with young guys coming into the league and helping them, establish themselves in the league and become something close or reach their full potential. He could definitely do that. He knows how to do that. He's done it multiple times, and he could unlock Jonathan Kuminga for this Warriors team, right? And no doubt about it, I don't feel like Chris Paul will not accomplish that goal. I feel like he can and he will. But DeAndre Ayton was not a bust. Before Chris Paul got to the Suns, DeAndre Ayton was not looking like a bust. Let's not get it twisted. That first year when DeAndre Ayton came to the league, he played decent. The second year after that is the year where he played one game and then was suspended for 25 games for taking some type of illegal substance, which is drugs or whatever. That's what hurt the team. When he was on the court, he was not playing bad. It's just that he had to not be on the court for 25 games. And when he came back, he had to be, established back into the lineup, and he had to basically regain his confidence and his trust within the team and all that stuff, and that takes time. And believe it or not, I believe it was that year, right? That year, the Suns made it to the bubble. And everybody's like, well, why even are the Suns in the bubble? Why they went 8-0. They almost made the playoffs if the Blazers didn't win that last game. And that was DeAndre Ayton playing great. Lord knows how he would have came out that third year, but that third year is the year that Chris Paul came to the Phoenix Suns. And this year is the year that the Suns went to the NBA Finals. And no doubt about it, DeAndre Ayton did play this year better than he played the first 2 years. But he also played this year better than he played the next 2 years. You look at DeAndre Ayton in the 2021-2022 series and DeAndre Ayton in the 2022-2023 series, and even this year, he didn't play as good. At all. But you look at DeAndre Ayton in the 2020-2021 season where the Suns went to the NBA Finals, people will call him top 5 centers in the league. So it's not that Chris Paul turned him from what was starting to look like a bust to this, great center, right? I'm pretty sure he did have something to do with it, don't get me wrong. But it's not like he's the sole reason And it's not like Deandre Ayton was a bust. Deandre Ayton just started playing bad once he started having problems with the coach, which at the time was Monty Williams. He was logged out at that point. He was not in tune. He was not interested in the game. It wasn't that he was looking like a bust. He was improving every single year. And I could almost guarantee after the 2021 finals, if him and Monty Williams were not, at bad terms, he would have played great during those playoffs. Because going into the playoffs, that was the Suns' best year. They went 62-20. I think they tied the record of all time. Or maybe they went 64-18. I really don't remember. I don't know if they tied the franchise record or they beat it. But long story short, that was the Suns' best year. The first round of the playoffs, when they went up against the Pelicans and Devin Booker got injured, that's when everything started to really take a toll on DeAndre Ayton. Him and Monty Williams kept going at it. And it was so open, it was just embarrassing for the team. And ever since then, he was not playing great. So you could also argue the fact that he played worse this last year of Chris Paul on the team than he ever did. So I don't think he was becoming a bust on the Suns. I think he was just making bad decisions. He got suspended for 25 games. But I think that year, John Collins also got suspended for 25 games. Did he become a bust? No. So I don't know, bro. Y'all let me know. Chat them down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talk with E. And it's time to leave the locker room. I'm going to catch y'all. Safety, my hearts.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three. To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection. This is for the win. Got it. Wow. At 7, working against Butler, got down.